European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has warned that the European Union is prepared to push back against Donald Trump's tariffs.
A powerful storm hit the Greek islands of Paros and Mykonos, triggering widespread flooding and destruction.
Belgium took the next step in the fight against tobacco products. There shall be no public display, the new law says. Tensions between the US and the EU escalate ahead of what Trump calls Liberation Day. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has warned that the European Union is prepared to push back against Donald Trump's plans to impose sweeping reciprocal tariffs on all US trading partners. Speaking before the European Parliament, von der Leyen emphasized Europe's leverage in negotiations, citing its vast single market and economic strength.
That we have everything we need to protect our people and our prosperity. We have the largest single market in the world. We have the strength to negotiate. We have the power to push back.
Von der Leyen criticized the proposed tariffs, warning they would raise consumer prices, destroy jobs, and harm both US companies and global trade. She described the measures as counterproductive to Trump's goal of reindustrializing America. The EU is already preparing countermeasures after delaying retaliation against earlier US tariffs on steel, aluminium, and cars. Von der Leyen urged unity among EU leaders, stressing that while Europe did not start this confrontation, it is ready to act decisively.
We think it is wrong. We do not necessarily want to retaliate, but if it is necessary, we have a strong plan to retaliate and we will use it.
Last year, the EU recorded a €156 billion trade surplus with the US, but a €108 billion deficit in services.
At least 2 people have been killed and several others injured by Russian attacks across Ukraine, according to local media. 1 civilian was reportedly killed and 5 others injured after Russia struck Zaporizhzhia. The regional governor said the attack destroyed and damaged residential buildings and social facilities. This included dozens of homes as well as a local church and school. A further civilian was killed and another injured by Russian attacks in Donetsk, according to the regional governor there. Other parts of Ukraine, including Kherson, Kharkiv, Sumy and Dnipro, were also reportedly attacked. Ukraine's general staff said Russia launched 2 missiles and 99 airstrikes at Ukrainian units and settlements on Monday. More than 2,000 drones were used for the strikes they added.
The 4th US soldier who went missing in Lithuania last Tuesday has been confirmed dead, country's President Gitanas Nausėda announced. It follows the recovery of 3 bodies on Monday after their armored vehicle, an M88 Hercules, was pulled from a swampy area at the General Silvestras Zakauskas training ground near Pabrade. The soldiers had gone missing during a tactical training exercise early last Tuesday. Hundreds of Lithuanian and US personnel conducted a massive 6-day search through dense forests and challenging terrain before locating the submerged vehicle in 4.5 meters of water. US Navy divers faced extreme conditions navigating thick layers of mud, clay and sediment with zero visibility to attach steel cables to the 63-ton Hercules. Additional heavy dozers were brought in to help pull the vehicle free after it began losing traction during recovery efforts. Lithuanian forces provided helicopters, fixed-wing aircraft, drones and hundreds of tons of gravel and earth to support the operation. Both the US Army and Lithuanian authorities are investigating how the vehicle ended up sinking into the swamp.
A powerful storm hit the Greek islands of Paros and Mykonos on Monday, triggering widespread flooding and prompting authorities to close schools and impose a ban on all traffic except emergency vehicles. Heavy rainfall in Paros' main towns of Parikia and Naousa caused floodwaters that surged through streets, carrying cars and debris past whitewashed buildings. Authorities on Paros said 13 people stranded in the storm were taken by firefighters to their homes, adding that no one was reported injured or missing. On Mykonos, where the flooding was less intense, excavators were used to clear a path for floodwater, and it gushed past seafront cafes and restaurants. Several islands near Paros in the Cyclades group, which is southeast of the mainland in the Aegean Sea, remain under severe weather warnings through Tuesday. Thousands of slaughtered farm animals are set to be buried in a small town in northern Hungary near the border with Austria. They were ordered to be killed after an outbreak of foot and mouth disease on a farm in Level. It can take up to 10 days before all of the cattle animals are slaughtered. A huge animal mass grave was excavated for the more than 3,000 animals. In addition to lime and straw, a 2-meter layer of soil will be placed over the carcasses. But some locals are concerned that the carcasses could contaminate groundwater.
És attól félünk, mert sok saját kutyáink vannak, furkutyáink, és elég közel temetik itt el állatokat, nehogy szennyeződjön a ivóvízünk is. Mert jó, megígérték, hogy majd lesz vízhálózat, de nehogy előbb betörténjen valami.
The disease was identified last Wednesday, after which the decision was taken to cull the animals. Police officers are checking that only vets and workers are allowed on the affected premises. The owner of the Western Gate Cooperative, an Austrian-born Hungarian citizen, has been keeping animals in Level for 30 years. Now his entire farm could be at risk. All the cattle on the farm needs to be slaughtered, despite only 5% of the herd being infected.
Ez egy uniós rendelet, állategészségi rendelet, hol minden tagország alatt kell dolgozni, és ottani egy fertőzött állomány pontos leírva kellene semmisíteni, weil mir es tovább menni, igazságért lehet egész ország tud tovább fertőzni, ezt kell lokalizálni.
The mass culling of healthy cattle can also be very emotionally distressing for livestock farmers.
Folyosó behajtva állat, hol a etenként egy kalota belép, és ez a kalota ottani egy hentes fejbelül állat, és ottani meghalt állat után a kamion berakva, egy szád kamion, hol szállít.
Trucks arriving at and leaving the farm are also disinfected. Another outbreak of foot and mouth disease has also been detected in Slovakia, with trucks having to pass through a disinfectant at the border crossing with Hungary.
A mögöttem látható telepnek 1,5 milliárd forintos kára keletkezik amiatt, hogy az összes állatot le kell ölni. Naponta 50 000 liter tejet vittek el innen, ennek hiánya is hatalmas bevételkiesést jelent. A kormány kártalanítást ígért, de az kérdéses, hogy ez mire lesz elegendő. Kis Gábor, Euronews, Levél.
Belgium has implemented a new regulation this week banning the display of cigarettes and other tobacco products in shops. The measure aims to reduce the visibility of addictive products, hoping to curb impulsive purchases. Under the new rules, supermarkets and stores larger than 400 meter squares are prohibited from selling cigarettes altogether. This initiative is overseen by Health Minister Frank van den Broek.
We have it in French. And so our ambition is to stop this killer. And our ambition is to have a smoke-free generation by 2040.
The campaign already began on January 1st with a ban on disposable e-cigarettes. Shop owners were left to find their own solutions to comply with the law. Some opted for makeshift plastic curtains, while others install sophisticated shelves that light up when opened. Jenny van Varenberg, a press and tobacco shop owner, expressed frustration over the lack of government support.
C'est embêtant parce qu'ils n'ont pas fourni le matériel. Ils auraient pu nous fournir du matériel nécessaire et correct, voilà. Puisqu'on reste les seuls éléments qui vont vendre du tabac, qu'on respecte bien les règles aussi de vente à quelqu'un qui a bien l'âge. Donc je trouve qu'ils auraient pu faire un effort, même s'ils n'ont pas d'argent. Mais moi j'en ai pas non plus.
Public reactions have been mixed. Smokers like Madak Shatani, a Brussels student, remain skeptical, arguing that hiding products won't break the cycle of addiction.
Moi je pense que c'est pas forcément une bonne idée parce que c'est des addictions et dans tous les cas les gens n'arrêteront pas du jour au lendemain parce que ça ne sera plus vu dans les magasins.
The next phase of Belgium's anti-smoking strategy, a proposed ban on smoking in public terraces, is still awaiting legislative approval. While opinions differ, the government remains committed to its long-term goal of reducing tobacco consumption and fostering healthier lifestyles.
The European Union is sticking to its plans to enforce new laws on social media platforms like X, TikTok, and Facebook, despite pressure from the US. In an interview with Euronews, European Commission Executive Vice President Hanna Verkunen, who oversees security and technology, explains that these laws are vital to protecting democracy from disinformation and market abuses.
Our rules are very fair because they are same rules for everybody who is operating and doing business in the European Union. So we have same rules for the European companies, for American companies, for the Chinese companies.
The Digital Services Act, which addresses disinformation, and the Digital Markets Act, aimed at ensuring a fair digital economy, have come under significant scrutiny from Donald Trump's prominent advisor, Elon Musk.
EU will not resile from implementing the DSA and DMA where and when needed, despite the confrontation with the United States.
It's super important for us that we are fully enforcing DMA and DSA, because when it comes to DMA, there we want to make sure that the big players, that they are not the dominant players, they are not misusing their market power, that also new innovations can enter to the markets in the European Union. And DSA is very much for making sure that illegal content and products are taken down and we have safe and democratic, fair environment.
Another Huawei scandal.
You can hear the full interview of the Europe conversation on Thursday.